Hey, what's up folks? This is Keith and you're watching Barber's Auto Help. Today I've got this '02 Honda Odyssey here with a V6 in it, and I'm going to show you how to replace the '02 sensor on it. And particularly, this is going to be the Bank 1 Sensor 1 oxygen sensor, which is the one right before the catalytic converter. There's also a Bank 1 Sensor 2 oxygen sensor, which is downstream from the catalytic converter. We're not going to concern ourselves with that one. This is the one up front. Now, the reason I'm replacing the sensor here is because I have a hunch that this is actually the problem. The check engine light came on the other day and it threw a code P0131, which is low voltage for the Bank 1 Sensor 1 oxygen sensor. Now, as soon as I go to check it, of course, it's not doing it. The check engine light went out and the oxygen sensor is reading like it's supposed to. So I think that I have an intermittently faulty oxygen sensor, and it doesn't cost very much for a new oxygen sensor, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw it at it and see what happens. So let's get down there and change this thing out. Now, to do this job, we're going to have to get the vehicle off the ground a bit. This video is not a video on how to properly and safely lift and support your vehicle. You need to get that information elsewhere. Say a repair manual or an owner's manual. We're just going to go over replacing the oxygen sensor for right now. Now, the oxygen sensor that you see right there, that is the Bank 1 Sensor 2 oxygen sensor. That's the one after the cat. It's actually in the cat, but that's the one that's monitoring the cat. We're not going to replace that one. We're going to replace the one that's further up, which is also known as the upstream oxygen sensor. And that, oh, actually I think it's on this side here. That bad boy is right there. That's the one we're going to be replacing. Now, looking up at the wire here, we're going to have to free the wire from this holder, and it's kind of oily, hard to see, but you see how I just unlocked that right there? Just kind of pulled that up like that and released it, and you just pull the wire right out of there, just like so. Okay, now that you got your wire freed up there, let's come around this side here and let's look up at that connector there. You can see you got this little lock tang, and this connector is actually attached to this bracket right here. Push in on that tang and pull down on the connector, and that frees it from the bracket. Now, to separate the two halves of this connector here, you have to push down on this lock tang and then pull the two halves of the connector apart. And I've got to sit you down to do that. All right, so I have it disconnected, and it looks pretty clean inside there. And it's pretty clean inside of that part of the connector as well. So we're just going to go ahead and proceed and replace this thing. Okay, so what we're going to need right here is an open-end 7/8 wrench. Now, there are special sockets that you can use for this that are specially designed to remove oxygen sensors, but a wrench works just as well in some cases, not all cases. We're going to use that in this case right here. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there, and we're going to loosen it up. We're going to go lefty-loosey, just like that, and pull this up all the way. And by the way, guys, I'm supposed to be wearing gloves right now. I ran out. That's my bad, but you definitely want to wear some sort of protective gloves. Either nitrile gloves or whatever you're not allergic to, and definitely wear some safety glasses or goggles. Now, we're going to go with a direct fit oxygen sensor. This one that I have right here, I'm not going to go into brands or anything like that, but this one costs $51. And get this, the universal oxygen sensor costs 20 bucks more, which has twice the headache. So why not just go with the direct fit oxygen sensor and do away with all that mess? So I'm going with the direct fit. This is plug and play, no special procedure needed. You screw it in, tighten it down, plug it up, and it's supposed to be good to go. Of course, you always want to start it out by hand. Get it twisted in there real good to where it's touching right there, and we're going to go ahead and snug it down. Now, this does not have to be super tight, but you do want to crush that that washer that's in there. If I were to make a guess, maybe 30-35 foot-pounds. I don't have the spec, and I'm not using a manual for this, okay, guys? You do want to verify the torque on this with the appropriate manual. There we go. Now we have to reconnect our connector, and of course you want to put the two halves of the connector together, and they only go together one way, and you got to make sure that it snaps and that it locks in securely. I've got to do that off camera because I can't hold it and show you at the same time. All right, so we got it connected and it is secure. Now we have to secure our connector back up on that bracket, and goes on like this, and it snaps into place as well. See if I get that right. There we go. Goes up in there like that, and you'll hear it snap into place. Give it a tug, make sure it's secure, and it is. You gotta come back down here, and this has to be resecured as well, because you don't want this wire just dangling around your CV axle right here. That's your CV axle coming right out of the transmission. That thing's spinning, so you don't want it to rub against this wire and short it out. So reconnect it. There we go. You gotta push it kind of hard. There we go. And it looks like we're locked into place there, so we're good to go. Well, folks, that is it. I sincerely hope that this helps somebody. Please read the entire description down below this video before you attempt this or apply any of this knowledge. I may need to clarify some things. That's where I do that. Also, by the way, even though this is an 02 Odyssey, this is probably applicable for a lot of the Odysseys with this particular body style. One way you can check is you can, of course, get up underneath the vehicle and see if you have two 02 sensors in a row like that. Now, if you got another 02 sensor, like say up here, or you got two before the catalytic converter, then this video doesn't apply. But this is real basic stuff here, and you can glean some information at least to help you if it is different. You know, it's pretty similar no matter what kind of setup you got there, but you just got to make sure you're changing the right oxygen sensor. Folks, thanks again. Please like and subscribe.